Hello and welcome to the first match preview of the 2023-24 season. And we've got the familiar face, the guy who was the only one to attend on Tuesday. And obviously a familiar Swedish face popping on, probably because he's expecting. But I think you're probably just jealous of what Joe Willock commented on Isaac's Instagram, and you think, right, no, I need to get back on and clear my place as the best fan. Just something which has just popped out, just for those who are getting excited for the premiere of the Amazon Prime documentary We Are Newcastle United. It drops at midnight tonight for all UK and Nordic fans.
Oh, that includes you.
That's me. I'm Nordic.
So great to see that that's going to be happening. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching it. Darren Eales has been doing the rounds. He's been speaking to Keith Downey. He's also been speaking to BBC Radio Newcastle. My mind went completely blank there on that. So that's something that's going to be happening. Right, so let's have a quick look. We're going to obviously have to have a look at Aston Villa. The main news that's come out today is that Emi Buendia has got a serious injury, looks more like an ACL. So it's probably going to keep him out for a fair few games, but especially it's going to keep him out for the game against us on Saturday, which is good news because he was actually one of the better players when we played them in the summer series. We'll go to you, Max. Who do you think are the main threats for Aston Villa?
I think Ollie Watkins is a big problem for us. He seems to score against us every time, and I think it's because it's the pace difference of him and our central defenders, which has been a problem for us. Even though they're usually positionally right, they tend to get beaten for pace a lot of the times, and that's why we all would have liked to see maybe new centre back addition for the games where we face quick opponents. But I think if we can keep the ball well, and without Buendia, their like in between the lines player will not be as good, because I don't know who their backup is. It's Coutinho maybe. He's not at the same level as Buendia. Maybe like 5 years ago, but not at this moment. So for me, Ollie Watkins is the one we need to keep quiet.
Bearing in mind they have signed. Now you ask me because my memory's gone completely blank. Yeah, they've signed Moussa Diaby, Tielemans.
Yeah.
I don't think Tielemans is what we class the Buendia replacement.
No.
So Moussa Diaby, I'm sort of, you'll look at it and you'll go, yeah, he's probably someone that can cause it. Tielemans.
Then Donker as well.
I wasn't impressed with him towards the end of his time at Leicester, but he might start shining in this Aston Villa side. But yeah, I do think, especially when you look at it, we got that was probably our worst performance last season when we went away to them.
Definitely.
The good, well, you can say good news, but this is Aston Villa's most recent form when visiting St James's Park.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah.
So they haven't won in their last 4 appearances in the Premier League at St James's Park.
Yeah, well, I kind of find those quite pointless, because I guess they have like 4 different managers doing those results, and I think Emery is the best one that they had in a while, and he seems to have a number on us every time we meet them. So I hope maybe Eddie Howe's outsmarted us this time.
We're due in the summer series.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, I would say,
can I just the one thing which I would point out with that is we actually put out, I would say, a weakened side compared to what he did, because Emery actually put out his probably strongest, one of his probably strongest sides against us, and Eddie Howe went, no, I'm going to continue the way that I'm going to use the pre-season, which is to mix the teams up like halves and that. So there's part of it where I'm happier now because we've also got better players. We've got Livramento who's come in now. We've got Harvey Barnes who's come in now. Obviously, Tonali's had more games to try and get in there. It's going to be tough. Yeah, simple as it's going to be tough. But yeah, if we want to stay at the top, we've got to beat the top.
Yeah.
We'll move away from looking at Aston Villa because who wants to really look at them? So let's have a look at obviously Newcastle. I'm going to ask you regarding the 3 signings first. We'll go with the one that was probably the easiest one to answer. Will this man start?
No.
Duncan?
I'd like him to, from a fantasy football point of view. I think he is an incredible threat, but I think he will be integrated the same as Tonali over a period of time, which is probably the right way to do it. But if you're looking for immediate impact,
I probably disagree. I think Harvey Barnes could start straight away, and the reason for that is he's a proven Premier League player. So it's not someone that we're bringing in from another league.
I guess when you look at the squad, who's going to play on the left side?
I think it's going to be Gordon.
Well, it depends, but Harvey Barnes has more goal contributions in his career against Aston Villa than any other team.
All I'd say to that, Max, is if they're both going to be put out on the left, you can only play one. Who do you choose? I've got a feeling that Gordon's going to be forced out either central or right. So
I agree.
Play Barnes or that. So for me, and I know during the under-21s, Gordon was out on the left, but I think Barnes' natural position is left. I think Gordon will be forced to start training and be a right-sided, as great as Miggy is.
But Gordon can also play central. So if there's times where we need to maybe go to maybe dropping one behind, let's say Isak or Wilson, Gordon can do that. And then when Harvey Barnes wants to do his runs in, Gordon can do the cross and go out towards the wing and that. So you've got that sort of counterbalance in that sense.
I just think for the first game, I think he's going to go for the players who knows the system really well. So it's going to be Gordon, Miggy, Isak up top, and the midfield against Villarreal with Joe Linton, Bruno, and Longstaff, and then the classical back four and keeper.
The only reason why I'm going to say Harvey Barnes is if I look at the 2 performances on the weekend of the Seller Cup, Harvey Barnes delivered. Gordon had chances, he missed them. Harvey Barnes had chances, he put them away. And I just think that might be something that plays into Eddie Howe's mind. Now, it might not be like you said, you might surprise all of us. I just think I just think Harvey Barnes is probably more suited for the Aston Villa game.
Don't get me wrong, I'd like to imagine start also.
But then you imagine, Harvey Barnes, he's getting a bit tired. I know, I'll tell you what, we can substitute him, and who we're going to bring on? Anthony Gordon. So this is what we're at now. We've now got fantastic substitutes that we can break on there. I think Miggy's a shoe-in for the right wing. I just can't see him not starting, especially as he also scored at the weekend as well. And the person who Max idolises, I've got a feeling he's going to start.
I hope so. If it doesn't, I'm going to be fuming.
He has to. And also, I keep going back to fantasy football. I think he'll get 25 goals this season. I think he'll be 2nd, 3rd, 4th top scorer.
If he stays fit, I think he'll get a lot of goals. I do, but he's adaptable as well. So you're seeing who can go on the left. Isak can also go on the left as well. Now that's something with Gordon. There could be times in games where Gordon moves more central and Isak goes on the left. If that happens, so there's flexibility in the front line as well, and that's something which I think is interesting to see and it's exciting to see. We'll go with the easy one. Will this man start? And if so, at left back or right back?
No.
No, absolutely not. And I think he's a young man who's a right back, which Kieran Trippier is, and I think when you're up against Sheffield United, your Burnleys, your Wolves, things like that, Tino will be in there. When you're up against your Barcelonas, Inter Milans, Real Madrids, Trippier is nailed on, and I think that is a Champions League, signing, Premier League signing. That when we're up against those teams, that's when Trippier plays as captain, and this is also a gateway or a door opener to Lascelles coming back into the team as captain. So if Tino's right back, then Lascelles could be captain. That would be my other option.
Yeah. Right, okay, so it'll be Trippier right back, Dan Burn left back.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Yeah, at
obviously
the moment,
Botman left centre back.
Yeah.
The big question is Fabian Shaw, because Fabian Shaw has been pictured in training.
But you'd flip between the two, so it's like Man City squad rotation. So depending on the game and the level of that game and the importance of that game, you would.
Well, here's the question: do you think the physicality of Watkins suits better to having Jamal Lascelles in the back line?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But I also think Aston Villa are a big threat for top 7. So I consider Aston Villa quite an important team to be playing. Straight off the bat, first game, unfortunate, but they are a quite important team to be playing.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm probably going to go with Lascelles because I just think we probably wouldn't risk Fabian Shaw unless he was 100%.
No, but sorry.
So I think we'll probably end up going with Lascelles. Obviously, the midfield, we know what the midfield's going to be. It's going to be Bruno. It's going to be Joe Linton. The big question is, will this man be joining them?
I don't think so. I know everyone wants to, and I want to see him also. But I think for the first game, it's the good option is Sean Longstaff, and we all remember how it went against Aston Villa when we didn't have Sean Longstaff. So for me, he has to start. We will see Tonali play football. We just have to be a little bit patient, like with Bruno, Botman, everyone else. Isak also, so just a bit patient. But I think Longstaff is going to start ahead of him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the safe bet is starting Longstaff because I said it is a new league for Tonali.
Yeah.
And he probably needs to get ready for the physicality aspect of it.
My only grenade that I'm going to throw in now is our next game is Man City away, and our next game is Liverpool at home, and our next game is Brighton away, and our next game is Brentford at home. Tonali, Trippier, all these players, they are our absolute frontline best players. These are the most, although it's the second and third game of the season, that is our most important games of the season. Do you not want those players in there? You can't afford to have Sean Longstaff in Man City away when you've got £75 million worth of Tonali sat on the bench.
Why not?
AC Milan Champions League. I just don't. I think you need to win those games and then give them a rest when you look.
But no,
Burnley,
this is about giving
West
him a
Ham,
rest, though.
Palace.
Right, but this isn't about giving Tonali a rest. This is
It's
about
not
not
giving
shoving...
a rest. It's about having your most best squad out there for the most important games that you have to win to get Champions League football.
Right,
we've got Man City away, second game.
Right, and we're going to disagree with this because I actually think shoving Tonali on right from the start against Aston Villa would be suicide.
The geezer played in Champions League for AC Milan. Like, he ain't unusual to these kind of games.
Yes, he played in a European competition. He also played in an Italian league that's probably below par. Yeah, you probably got...
They got to the quarterfinals or semi-finals.
Yeah, they got to the semi-finals, right? Yeah, that's fine. So did Inter Milan, and yeah, people saying Inter Milan aren't really that good.
I just think the tactical aspect of his game might need to be a bit more improved because I think we saw him get out of position quite a lot in the friendly games we saw. He has a really good technical ability. I think just the tactical and physical side might need to be a little bit more improved before he gets those big games.
I think what Duncan's doing is what every other fan was doing up until the end of the season, and not remembering that Sean Longstaff does a lot of the work, which goes unnoticed. He does the running around. He gets the winning the ball. He does the hard work, the graft behind the scenes that people don't see. But he's integral to that, and he's a good player. I just think in this sort of a game against Aston Villa, as you've said, because realistically, we missed him. In that game, I would say start Longstaff, then
bring him on.
The game is going, and then you introduce Tonali.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you're going to need to do for the first few games. Do you really want to chuck Tonali in against Aston Villa, Man City, Liverpool, and he starts getting like really poor in terms of performances? His confidence drops, and we're then working harder to integrate him.
He's gonna replace Longstaff in the long run. I'm pretty sure of that. But
it's
just the starting stretch.
Oh no, he is going to. But I just think for now, let's not chuck him in the deep end and go, look, there you go, sink or swim.
Yeah. I agree with both points. I agree with my point. I agree with your point. I think
because he did that with Bruno. He put him on. He edged him in quite a few games, regardless of what games.
But we weren't in the position that we're in now.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. It's a very different. If you
sign we are in the position. But we are in a position where we can. No, Bruno at the time though, we needed him because we're trying to stay up. Where we are right now, we got Champions League football with Sean Longstaff. And people are forgetting that he was a big part of us getting into the top.
But what I'd also say is these guys are professional.
We are in a position where we can start Sean Longstaff and slowly introduce Tonali because it's not a need. We're not desperate for Tonali to start.
But we have to win the Aston Villa game. We need ideally to beat Man City away, and we need to beat Liverpool at St James's Park.
It would be nice to beat Aston Villa, but it's not a necessity. We don't need to beat them. It just means that later on in the season, it's going to be harder in terms of getting that. But there's nothing saying that we don't beat Liverpool, which we didn't obviously do last year. Yeah, we don't know. We might go to Man City and they might have an off day because they're playing
those first
Super
three
Cup
games
not long before they're playing us. So
if we finish above any of those first three games teams, A, we're either going to win the league, or B, we're going to get Champions League football. So we've got the worst start to the season over any other team. So that requires getting out the blocks like Usain Bolt. There's no time to introduce players. You have to turn up on the 12th and go win. Because if you don't...
Right. See, this is where, and this is, because there'll be other fans that will have that same cover. It's not, and this is again, do not panic and do not start getting on both the players and Eddie Howe's back.
That's going to happen.
It is, but I'm telling the fans now, don't be so stupid. It is a tough start of the league. We overachieved massively last season, and well done for the club.
I agree with
the
you.
players for doing that.
I agree with you.
So if we don't hit the height and maybe rush up, now you've got to remember we didn't really have an okay start. We beat Forest, but then we went on and drew loads of games, and these weren't like ideal teams. This was like your Palaces and Bournemouth and those sort of teams. So this is the case. It was only towards probably the end to where we were then going to be finishing in the World Cup break that we started getting into the top four. There is no issue. Yeah, I would say we probably we need to not lose the game against Aston Villa. But there's not really a pressure because I think getting a point against Aston Villa isn't a bad result, given the fact that the last time we played them at Villa Park, we got absolutely tanked 3-0.
Annihilated,
So you're looking at that and you're going, right, okay, so the last time we played them in Unai Emery was in charge, we got absolutely slaughtered and we got beat 3-0. So you then look at that and go, well, actually, a draw will be positive.
Let me flip that on its head. And I'm conscious of time. Let me flip that on its head and say, imagine we beat Villa, we draw with Man City, and we beat Liverpool at St James's Park. So 7 points after the first three games, going into Brighton, Brentford, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Ham, and Crystal Palace. We could be top of the league by October the 21st.
We could be going into those games with 1 point and then able to build on it. No, but we are.
These guys
that's
are
true.
professional footballers. They play football for a living. Put them in the fucking game. Get them out there, play football, and win games. That's why we paid 55 million
We're
for
going
you.
to end this because, yeah, I think I've got the more common sense argument. But
You never know. Eddie Howe might see something in training that we don't, and he might
that's
start.
the case. But if we're going off history,
Yeah,
that's
the
probably not likely to start.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So right, let's end
We'll see.
this. Let's end this with predictions. We'll go with you first, Matt.
Predictions. Yeah. I'd say I think it's gonna be like a 2-2 draw or something. I can see us beating them, but I can also see them beating us. So that's why I'm setting for a draw. So
that's fine. That's what you used to do last season, and it worked.
Exactly. So I'm
keep
thinking
that.
I'll start on that note, and then we'll see how the season progresses.
And Duncan, just no discussions, no that. Just a short. This is your prediction.
Well, no. Well, looking back through the betting history, I think 2-1 Newcastle, because that's historically, other than a few 4-0, 6-0, it's been 1-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. I think 2-1 Newcastle. Do you want scorers or minutes?
No, if you want to go scorers, I'll let you do the scorers.
Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac. I think 2-1 Newcastle, Isaac double, and I'm going to captain in the fantasy football.
Yeah, I'm also going to do that.
Come on, Maxi.
Yes, I'm going to do that all season.
So what we'll do is we'll say thank you for watching. Thank you for Max and Duncan for getting involved and giving us a debate, some more than others. Yeah. But we'll say thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with a
podcast.
Well, a terrace talk and a match preview for the next game. So we'll just say welcome back to the Premier League. We're all excited and we can't wait. And we'll see you next week. Thank you and good night.